the narratives, and the nonsense. It's time to have real conversations, stand up, speak out, and shine a light on what's really happening inside our schools, our systems, and our government, and what it really means for your family. This is the Lindsay Beckham Show, where we believe in truth over talking points, facts over feelings, and the courage to say what others won't. Because when it comes to our kids, silence is not an option. Only in America, dreaming.
Happy Friday. It is finally Friday, and my goodness, it is a hot one out there. I just heard them say heat index of 106 or greater. So if you are working outside, please be careful out there in this heat and call Pure Air Consultants. If you find yourself in a situation where you need more air, which I feel like all Mississippians find themselves in that situation at some point throughout these Mississippi summers. So definitely give Pure Air Consultants a call. They will help you out there. Even if your air is working, call them anyway. Let them check it out. Let them make sure that there's nothing that is going to go wrong, because you do not want to catch yourself in this type of heat with no air conditioning. I don't know how they did it back in the days before air conditioning was invented. I don't know. I guess maybe they were conditioned to it, but I don't know that I could have survived that. We had a great event last night out at Archer Farms in Brandon. Of course, we had the lovely Miss Gina Archer on the show earlier this week. She was promoting her event and talking to us about her personal story. She unfortunately lost her son to a fentanyl overdose when he did not even know he was ingesting fentanyl. And I talk about this so much on air and with Moms for Liberty and the things that we advocate for. And I kind of had to get myself in check and remind myself that I also need to be talking about this more with my daughters, especially my two oldest daughters, because it's just such a scary epidemic, these synthetic drugs and this fentanyl crisis, especially given that the 4 years under the Biden administration, we had a wide open border. This stuff was just flooding into our country, killing our children, and they don't even know that one pill, a pill that they think is something completely different, can take your life in a matter of seconds. So I went home and I had a long, serious conversation with my oldest daughter, and she said, "Where's this coming from?" And while I didn't go into all the details, I now know 3 moms, personal friends of mine, whose very intelligent, educated sons are no longer on this earth because of fentanyl or some sort of synthetic drug. And it's just something that we've got to be so aware of, and that we've got to talk to our children about. They've got to be educated on how one pill that you might think is one thing could be something completely different. And yes, that one small pill can take your life. My oldest daughter said, I would never do that. But, you just can't be too sure. You cannot be too sure. And especially this generation, the world they're growing up in, everybody wants to fit in. Everybody wants to not be the odd man out. Peer pressure is such a big thing. Social media and the bullying that we see there. And these kids just live in a different world than the one I grew up in. So that's something that I'm going to hold myself accountable and do a better job of talking to my own children about the harms and the dangers out there when we look at the fentanyl epidemic. You just can't be too careful. You cannot be too careful. But we had a great event last night. They raised some money. Lynn Fitch was there, our attorney general, and she spoke. She's kind of been at the front lines of doing everything she can from her position, from her office here in the state of Mississippi to combat the fentanyl crisis. Got to see good old Uncle Jimmy Nichols, who was on the show last week. So, of course, I told you guys about the snake grabbing rodeo. They had a very successful event last weekend. They raised $100,000 for this 2-year-old little girl who will have to have many surgeries throughout her lifetime. The way that she was born, this I guess, genetic congenital disease that affects her limbs. And then also, they were able to raise enough money to fund a modular home for a former Marine, a veteran who was in need of that. As I told you guys, I'm not going anywhere near a snake. I'm not grabbing any snakes, that's for sure. But it looked like a great time was had by all. Now, I saw Jimmy last night out at Archer Farms, and he was showing me some video from the snake grabbing rodeo. One of those crazy fools grabbed a cottonmouth. And I'm just thinking, see, I told you, Jimmy, this is why you ain't getting me out there around all those snakes. I'll promote it on the show all day long, but there is no way that I'm about to get in a boat to go grab some snakes. That just is not ever going to happen. And so he sent me the video. There's a whole YouTube video about the group that went out and grabbed the cottonmouth, and I watched a little bit of it, and then I had to turn it off. I mean, you just have to burn the whole place down if there's a cottonmouth coming for you. At least that's my opinion. Look, there's a reason why Satan was the serpent in the Bible. I stand by that. I'm not going to be anywhere near the snakes. I was listening to the news on the way in. Sad situation happening right now over in Midland, Texas. There was an active shooter situation this morning. At least 11 have been injured. There's at least one deceased. The news I was getting as I was coming in was saying that the shooter is deceased. I don't know if that's the one that they are counting as the deceased, but they did say that there are at least 11 injured. And the shooter, okay, it says Midland shooter killed, 11 injured, 1 victim deceased. So I guess there's at least 2 dead, including the shooter. There was a big standoff with the suspect after this active shooter situation began. Very sad when we see these situations play out. People just living their everyday normal lives, and all of a sudden a wacko lunatic nut job shows up with a gun and thinks it's okay to start killing people. And speaking of that, can we talk about the outrage over the Carmelo Anthony verdict? Was anybody else surprised? This kid who, by the way, was kicked out of school for bringing a knife to school, didn't like what somebody had to say. So he goes to his vehicle or wherever he has his bag away from the person who he claims to be defending himself from, Austin Metcalf, comes back with a knife and kills him. That is cold blooded murder. That is not self defense. And I don't understand how there's so much outrage and backlash over the sentence that this kid received, this 35-year sentence in jail. I mean, to be honest, I probably would tend to think he needs more than that. If you are that evil, that your first thought when someone says or does something that you don't like is to go get a knife and murder them, then I don't know that you ever need to be on the street again. I don't know that you ever need to be a free man walking again. And I'm just a little appalled at the people upset that he was found guilty. I see a video of his mom talking about how he's not a murderer. This was self-defense. I mean, in what world? I know this was the defense that they used in the trial, but in what world could this be considered self-defense? Honestly. And then I get so aggravated that these types of situations suddenly become about nothing other than race. I don't care if they were both black, if they were both white, if the victim was white and the murderer was black, or if the murderer was white and the victim was black. None of that matters when we are talking about someone who's upset enough about something somebody said to him to go retrieve a knife and take that person's life. But we live in a society, in a world today where everybody needs to be offended about something. Everybody's got to be mad about something. And if you don't like someone for whatever reason, then you are automatically going to assume that they're a racist or a fascist or, I don't know, I could tell you a ton of names they've come up with for me. Planned Parenthood. I can't even remember some of the things that they have called us. Minivan Taliban, assholes with casseroles. The names go on and on and on that they have decided to use for us. I kind of think some of them are comical. In fact, we should take that and run with it, profit off of it. We should put a cookbook together of nothing but casseroles and sell the heck out of it to raise money in order to advocate harder for parental rights. I'm sure the SPLC would love that. Turn it around on them. And here's the thing. I think I probably am more sensitive when someone says something about me that's hurtful if it's someone that I know. Because if it's someone that I know, then they should know my heart. Now, the lunatic nut jobs out there who get on this YouTube stream and comment their crazy nonsense every day, look, that's entertaining for me. Keep it coming. It doesn't bother me one bit. And I think the reason that is because I know who I am. I know who I am in Christ. I know whose I am. I know my heart. I know what I stand for. I know what I advocate for. I know what I fight for. All that other nonsense is just noise. And I don't lose a single wink of sleep over it. But when we get into it becoming an issue of violence and safety, well, that's when people have to be held accountable. Every time somebody says something these days that you don't like, it automatically becomes hate speech. And that's not what our country was founded on. We can do so much better. Both sides of the aisle can do so much better when it comes to that topic. We got to take a break. Y'all stay with us. I do want to get to some current news that I haven't yet gotten the chance to talk about here on the Lindsay Beckham Show. So we're going to do that when we get back. Y'all stay with us. 1039 WYAB. We will be right back. WYAB. We will be right back.
1039 WYAB.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Hot weather requires us to run the AC nonstop. Pure Air Consultants can inspect your unit today to ensure your AC is operating at peak performance. Pure Air Consultants is your go-to Rheem partner that can get the job done and have you resting in comfort in no time. Locally owned and operated, they have proudly served our community for over 22 years. Contact Pure Air Consultants today at mypureairconsultants.com. Rheem and Pure Air Consultants to the rescue.
When it comes to protecting all the things that matter in your world, generations of folks in central Mississippi have trusted Allstate agent Mark Dwyron. Mark knows the right coverage with the right price, helps you feel secure and protected. For decades, Mark's been a trusted agent protecting you against mayhem that is unpredictable. And he's always just a moment away when you need him. Mark Dwyron. For auto, home, life, and more, you're in good hands with Allstate. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Here is what real customers have to say about Roeder's Plumbing Service.
This is Leah. I wanted to tell people what a wonderful job Roeder's Plumbing did for me recently. I called, Chris Roeder answered the phone. He had somebody out in no time. They fixed me real fast. I couldn't believe they came out here like that. That's all I can say.
Plumbing problems? You need Roeder's Plumbing. Visit roedersplumbing.com today.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store. LS Tractor understands your passion for the land, and just like you, LS Tractor is committed to excellence and superior products. LS Tractor comes with a long list of standard features that are unmatched by other brands and backed with the LS commitment to provide exceptional customer service and satisfaction. A lot more for your money with the LS Tractor. Come to the Tractor Store in Richland to experience the LS difference. The Tractor Store in Richland.
It's road trip season again. Is your vehicle ready? Take your vehicle to Green's Tire and Auto on Ridgewood Road in Ridgeland to get it in tip-top shape before you head out of town. Don't get stranded while you're away from home. Preventative maintenance is their specialty at Green's Tire and Auto. And if your check engine light is already on, then Green's Tire and Auto can tell what's wrong and get it fixed. Before you start your road trip, take your car to Green's Tire and Auto, Ridgewood Road in Ridgeland.
When it comes to protecting what matters most, experience counts. And the Rusty Healy Agency has been serving Madison and the rest of the Jackson Metro for over 35 years. Local agent Landon Thompson is keeping that trusted tradition going strong. As a local independent agent, he's not locked into one provider. The Rusty Healy Agency can shop the top insurance companies to find the best fit for you. And everyone knows that the Rusty Healy Agency and Landon Thompson offer top quality local customer service. Contact Landon today at 601-856-3681.
Need equipment that works as hard as you do? Come see me, Noah Sullivan, at H&H Chief Sales in Carthage. Thousands of you have already made the short drive to see us at H&H for the state's best deals on CM truck beds, Big Tex trailers, Wells Fargo enclosed trailers, and even rugged Candy electric utility vehicles. At H&H, our equipment is built for the farm, job site, hunting camp, or anywhere around your property. So visit me, Noah Sullivan, at H&H Chief Sales on Highway 35 North in Carthage, or online anytime at hhchiefsales.com.
All in America, dreaming red, white, and blue.
Welcome back in to the Lindsay Beckham Show, live here in the WYAB studios, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. You can call in to the show today. 601-879-0002 is the number to the station to call in here, be on air with me today. You can also text in to the Lindsay Beckham Show text line. That number is 601-879-4648. You can always find the audio versions of all of our WYAB shows, our local host at WYAB.com, streaming worldwide. You've got Chip Matthews Show from 6 to 7 a.m. every morning. Then you got Clay Edwards coming in after that from 7 to 9. Mondays at 9, you've got Matt Bishop, The Full Story. And then Tuesdays at 9, you've got General Bob's Swap Shop. You can sell your things, call in. He'll get your merchandise sold that you are trying to get rid of. And then, of course, Wednesdays and Thursdays at 9, you got Mike Madison, WIAB's very own. He's not in the studio live anymore, but he still does 2 shows a week, and those air 9 o'clock Wednesday and Thursday. And then Chris Davis on Fridays at 9 with the Music Hour, talking about Mississippi music. Of course, Andrew Gosser from 10 to 12 right before I come in here from 12 to 1. And then we have some national shows that play throughout the afternoon. Of course, the one, the only radio strongman, Mr. Kim Wade, wraps up the local shows for the day during that drive time from 4 to 6 p.m. It is quite entertaining. If you are not listening to the Kim Wade Show, you need to be. He tells it like it is. He is one of the most conservative men I know, and I guess that's a little ironic because he is a black man. But he will call out the black community quicker than anyone else when it comes to crime, education, safety, and he knows what he's talking about. So if you're not listening, definitely you want to tune in from 4 to 6 Monday through Friday here at WIB to hear the one and only Kim Wade. Been doing this for a very long time, and he is a pro, I tell you. I love it when I get to sit in and produce for Kim. He keeps me laughing, but he also, again, tells it like it is. This weekend, they will crown a new Miss Mississippi over there in Vicksburg, Mississippi. That's always a very exciting event. I don't think people truly understand the work, the preparation, the time, and the effort that goes into preparing for a competition like Miss Mississippi. It's a week-long event. The final night is televised on WLBT, but they run that show, that production, which is an Emmy Award-winning production, by the way, 3 nights prior to that, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday preliminary nights. And that's when the judges get to see each girl perform talent, each girl answer an onstage question, each girl compete in the evening gown competition. They have removed the swimwear competition back many moons ago. In fact, it's been 20 years. It's crazy. 20 years ago, when I was on that stage, we had a swimsuit competition, and that's the scariest 30 seconds, I think, of my life, walking across a stage in heels and a swimsuit for people to judge you on your physical fitness. But it is the largest scholarship provider for girls across the country. The Miss Mississippi organization leading the way there. In fact, the scholarship money I won during my years of competing within the Miss America organization, the Miss Mississippi Corporation, paid for every single cent of my college education. Did not have to come out of pocket for anything. All because of the scholarship opportunities I was given through this organization. Not only that, but it prepared me, I believe, more than anything else ever could, to talk to people, to do what I'm doing right now, to sit behind this microphone, to share my views and opinions, to understand what's going on in the world, to be mindful of what's happening around me, and to be able to form my own opinions on those things, and then be able to share those in a way that makes sense. To be able to walk into a job interview without the nerves and the anxiety. I can't say enough great things about my time spent competing within the Miss America organization. So good luck to all those girls in Vicksburg. Again, we will crown a new Miss Mississippi tomorrow night. Analia Jolly, the current outgoing Miss Mississippi, has done an absolutely phenomenal job. She has a very inspiring story. She was actually adopted from another country, so came into America as a young girl through an adoption, and has spent the last year as Miss Mississippi, doing a fabulous job traveling our state, the country, promoting Mississippi. It'll be sad to see her go, but excited to see who will be crowned. I plan to get into talking about this Arkansas sheriff nominee. I've talked about him a good bit. It's been a minute, and there has been some movement within his case. Now, this is the dad who shot and killed a man because this man was a pedophile who was grooming his daughter. And they decided to indict him on murder charges. Well, there was some news in his case last week. We're going to get to that. We got to take a break first. But I want to talk about what's going on over in Arkansas. The Aaron Spencer case, the latest, what's happening there, what this means for the future, his future. And then I also, if we have time, want to get into the new select committee who met earlier this week, to focus on learning how we could go about consolidating school districts within the state of Mississippi. That seems to have caused a bit of controversy. So we're going to get into that and what that would mean for schools here in the state. Y'all stay with us. WIAB 103.9, The Lindsay Beckham Show. We will be right back. Right back.
1039 WYAB.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit AmericansForProsperity.org. Be a part of positive change at AmericansForProsperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Hot weather requires us to run the AC nonstop. Pure Air Consultants can inspect your unit today to ensure your AC is operating at peak performance. Pure Air Consultants is your go-to Rheem partner that can get the job done and have you resting in comfort in no time. Locally owned and operated, they have proudly served our community for over 22 years. Contact Pure Air Consultants today at mypureairconsultants.com. Rheem and Pure Air Consultants to the rescue.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. The shooter is dead in Midland, Texas, says a statement from the city. At least one other person is dead. 9 victims have been taken to the hospital. Preliminary police info says it started Wednesday when officers tried to pull over a car and the driver fired at officers and then fled. Tried to grab the driver today and he began shooting. Scaffolding is up as workers prepare to take President Trump's name off the Kennedy Center in Washington. Today is the court-ordered deadline to do so, and a federal judge has denied a last-minute appeal to stop it. ABC's Peter Haralambous.
To put it lightly, he's very angry about this. He's repeatedly spoken about it, put out multiple Truth Social posts.
The administration's appeal claimed removal of the Trump name could create confusion and hurt fundraising. Iran's foreign minister says a short-term agreement has never been closer, but no word that Iran has agreed to any U.S. demands. This is ABC News.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Hot weather requires us to run the AC nonstop. Pure Air Consultants can inspect your unit today to ensure your AC is operating at peak performance. Pure Air Consultants is your go-to Rheem partner that can get the job done and have you resting in comfort in no time. Locally owned and operated, they have proudly served our community for over 22 years. Contact Pure Air Consultants today at mypureairconsultants.com. Rheem and Pure Air Consultants to the rescue.
Managing payroll, benefits, workers' comp, and HR tasks can take valuable time away from running your business. That's where People Lease comes in. From payroll processing and tax filing to employee benefits and retirement plan administration, People Lease helps simplify your back office operations while improving employee satisfaction. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Schedule your consultation today at peoplelease.com. That's peoplelease.com.
Metal Builder Supply in Pearl provides quality commercial and residential metal roofing, pre-engineered steel buildings, mini storage facilities, pole barns, and steel components with old-time service and competitive prices. Through our commitment, experience, and expertise, Metal Builder Supply has established a business relationship with our customers that will last a lifetime. When you need metal roofing, reflective insulation, trim, or metal decking, contact Metal Builder Supply online at metalbuildersupplypearl.com.
At Flora Animal Hospital, our team doesn't just take care of your pet's needs. We feel like it starts with the pet parents. If the pet parent is informed thoroughly and understands the situation with the animal and why certain things need to be done or certain medications need to be given, it's easier to get that done. Our website is floraanimalhospital.com. It'll take you straight to the online store where your medicine can be purchased, food can be purchased, prescription or non-prescription, and they will be shipped straight to your front door. floraanimalhospital.com.
Are you thinking about your next vehicle purchase? Hi, I'm Casey Ellis, owner of Ellis Autoplex in Brandon. If you've been searching for a clean diesel or half-ton truck, your search is over. At Ellis Autoplex, we specialize in the vehicles people actually want. Whether you're upgrading, buying your first truck, or looking for something the big dealerships don't have, Ellis Autoplex is worth the drive. Stop by and see why more and more people across the Southeast are choosing Little Truck City. Follow us on Facebook or shop online at ellisautoplex.com.
From Jacksontown to the radio, this is the Lindsay Beckham Show.
Welcome back into the Lindsay Beckham Show. Live here in the WIAB studios. Would love to hear from you today. If you want to chime in on any of our topics, you are more than welcome to call into the show, 601-879-0002. We also have the Lindsay Beckham Show text line. If you would like to text in, 601-879-4648. You may remember I did several shows talking about this Arkansas father, Aaron Spencer. Now, his young daughter, who I believe was 15 at the time, had been talking to a grown man in his 60s who was basically grooming her. They had filed charges against this man. There was a no contact order in place. Yet this father, Aaron Spencer, wakes up to find his daughter not in her bed, not in her bedroom. He gets in his truck to go look for his daughter, and he just so happens to come up behind this man who, of course, had his daughter in the truck with him. Now, this man's name was Michael Fossler. He got them to pull over. Obviously, there was an argument that ensued. He did shoot and kill Mr. Fossler, making the world a safer place, one less predator out there on the streets looking for children to sexually assault. My opinion, they should have given him an award. They did quite the opposite. They indicted him on second-degree murder charges. Shortly after being indicted, Mr. Spencer decided he would run for sheriff in his Arkansas town. Now, he did, in fact, come out on top in his primary back in March over the 3-term sheriff who's currently in office. Also, the sheriff whose office under his leadership had arrested Spencer. Now, this county has roughly 76,000 residents and is heavily Republican. Mr. Spencer's attorneys do not deny that he shot and killed Mr. Fossler, but of course, they make the point that he did so to protect his child. Last week, Special Circuit Court Judge Ralph Wilson Jr., God bless this man, granted a motion by Spencer's attorney to dismiss the charge. Now, this charge is being dismissed because a dash camera memory card that may have captured the shooting was lost by law enforcement. And I can only hope that somebody within that law enforcement community had enough of a backbone to destroy that piece of evidence and say, this is wrong. What the justice system in our community is attempting to do to this man for protecting his daughter should not happen. We cannot allow this to happen. So these charges against Mr. Spencer have been dismissed. At the time of the shooting, the 67-year-old man, Mr. Fossler, who was with his, 13-year-old daughter, that's even worse, 67-year-old man and a 13-year-old child, he was out on bond because he had already been charged with dozens of sexual offenses. The court did find that conduct by law enforcement was so egregious, I can never say that word correctly, that dismissal of this case is warranted. So God bless that judge who made the decision to dismiss this second-degree murder charge against this dad who did nothing other than what he felt was warranted in protecting his 13-year-old innocent baby child. Personally, we need more dads across this country like Aaron Spencer who are involved to the point where they know exactly what's going on with their children and who are not going to stand for a sicko like Mr. Fossler to come in and brainwash and groom their children. From what I understand, they cannot bring these charges back up. So congratulations to Aaron Spencer over in Arkansas and good luck. I don't think he'll have any problem being victorious when it comes to this sheriff's race. He will be on the ballot in November. Something that I talked about a little while ago was the situation over in Ridgeland concerning fluoride in the city's water. There will be more talk about that subject coming up next week. They'll be hearing from state leaders on why they should keep fluoride in the water. Now, back in December, and this is when I talked about it, the Board of Aldermen voted to take the first step to officially remove fluoride from the treatment process, which would be a hearing presentation from the Mississippi State Department of Health. Now, they have not been adding fluoride to the water for at least 3 years prior, largely due to the shortage brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. I, of course, don't think we should have fluoride in our water systems. It has been proven in several different studies to lower IQs in children. I think we're so quick just to blindly trust what we're told we need and the reasons why we're told we need it. But when you actually do a deep dive and you look into the consequences, you look at the data, you look at the studies yourself, you will see it doesn't look too safe for our children. I know my children do not get fluoride at the dentist. We use fluoride-free toothpaste when possible. Sometimes it's hard to find, but you can get it online. I'm just very weary of any and everything that we are putting into our children's bodies. It's the Maha mama coming out in me. Also wanted to touch on this new House committee that met last week. It sparked quite a bit of controversy that I saw playing out on social media. Now, this committee has been set up to examine the consolidation of school districts across the state of Mississippi. They are exploring those options of merging some districts and possibly closing some schools in order to reduce cost and expand student opportunities. Now, I wanted to share this with you, and I think this is quite interesting, and this speaks volumes. If you look and compare Mississippi and Florida, Mississippi has 135 school districts. Florida has a total of 69. 74 more school districts. Mississippi has 74 more school districts than Florida. Now, Mississippi has 441,000 students. Florida, 2.84 million students, and yet they operate with much fewer school districts. When we look at these superintendents' salaries, most superintendents in the state of Mississippi earn between $145,000 to $160,000 annually. Now, I have seen some closer to around $200,000. Now, in Florida, most earn $180,000 to $210,000, with several large districts around that $300,000 mark. But when you look at the amount of districts, then obviously Mississippi is spending a lot more in administration cost than Florida. Now, when you want to look at where we rank nationally, of course, Mississippi has moved up. We are sitting strong right there at number 16 nationally when it comes to education. Florida, number 1. Number 1 in education in the United States of America, with that many fewer school districts and that many more students. And if that doesn't scream to you that there's some consolidation that needs to happen, that there are some inflated superintendent salaries that need to be cut, the money that the Mississippi State Legislature is allocating toward our public school system here in the state of Mississippi in the last decade has grown by several $billion. And they still claim it's not enough. It's never enough. Not only that, though, the attendance, the number of students that we are actually servicing and educating in the state of Mississippi has decreased by 60,000 students. So we've decreased the number of students by 60,000. We have increased the number of money going to public education in the state by several billion in the last 10 years. It's very clear. The money's not going to the classroom. It's lining the wallets of administration that we don't need. This committee has a tough job ahead of them, but it is so necessary if we want to continue this trend of getting better in education across the state. Then we have got to look into consolidating the amount of school districts that we have. We got to take our last break. Y'all stay with us. We're going to be right back here on the Lindsay Beckham Show to wrap things up for the week. WIAB 1039. We'll be right back. WIAB 1039. We'll be right back.
Keep it tuned here to 1039 WYAB.
When it comes to protecting all the things that matter in your world, generations of folks in central Mississippi have trusted Allstate agent Mark Dwyron. Mark knows the right coverage with the right price, helps you feel secure and protected. For decades, Mark's been a trusted agent protecting you against mayhem that is unpredictable. And he's always just a moment away when you need him. Mark Dwyron. For auto, home, life, and more, you're in good hands with Allstate. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit AmericansForProsperity.org. Be a part of positive change at AmericansForProsperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Hi, this is Rita Jensen with Remax Connection. I've been selling real estate now for well over 30 years, and I typically use Chadwick Home Inspectors. And Chad has done many, many home inspections for me.
They are pretty much from roof to foundation. Most people are surprised at just how thorough these home inspections can be. Been working with Rita almost a decade now. Very rarely does she let a deal fall fall apart. She can usually find a way to negotiate where both parties are satisfied.
RitaJensen.net.
Every night, thousands of Mississippians gather around the radio to follow the hottest team in baseball, the Atlanta Braves. And the voice leading the way? Madison's own Ben Ingram. Local Roots, a winning team. If your business wants to connect with loyal, engaged listeners all season long, there's still time to become a Braves broadcast sponsor on WYAB. To learn more, email info@wyab.com. It costs a lot less than you think. That's info@wyab.com.
The only thing hotter than Mississippi in the summer is a Mississippi summer when the power goes out. This summer, be ready. Call Cowden Electric. They can install a permanent standby generator that automatically kicks on the second the power fails and keeps your whole house running. Hey, you already got a portable generator? Call Cowden Electric and let them set it up so you can safely plug it into your breaker box and power just the essentials. Don't wait for the next outage. Call Cowden Electric today or visit CowdenElectric.com and stay powered up when the grid goes down. CowdenElectric.com.
You wake up tired. You drag through the day. The drive's gone. The focus is gone. And somewhere along the way, you stopped feeling like yourself. At Live Better Men's Health and Wellness in Gluckstadt, they help men take control again with personalized testosterone therapy, wellness treatments, and real answers. Fast lab work, real medical professionals, no judgment. Stop settling for fine. Start living better. Live Better Men's Health. Online at livebettermen.com.
Want insider tips on foundation repair, maintenance, and how to protect your biggest investment? Todd Sandridge, owner of Superior Foundation Services, will be dropping in this month for quick interviews with your favorite local hosts. Whether you're dealing with cracks, settling, or just want peace of mind, this is a conversation you don't want to miss. Superior Foundation Services, helping you stay on solid ground. Find them online at superior.ms. That's superior.ms.
From Mississippi, where faith, family, and freedom still matter. This is the Lindsay Beckham Show.
Welcome back into the Lindsay Beckham Show, the last minute or so of the Lindsay Beckham Show this week. I will be filling in next Wednesday for Andrew Gosser, so you'll get 3 straight hours of the Lindsay Beckham Show next Wednesday. I know everybody is super excited about that. Mary Ball says, what do you mean Florida ranks highest in education? Where did you get that number? That is coming from the U.S. News and World Report, who release a state-by-state ranking system, and education is included in that as well. They have Mississippi ranked number 16 and Florida ranked number 1. Now, Florida does educate more than 6 times as many students as Mississippi while operating with roughly half as many school districts. That was my whole point in bringing up this comparison. That means the average Florida school district is about 12 times larger than the average Mississippi district. So I think we could definitely do some consolidating there, help save some money when it comes to education, putting those dollars back into the classroom. I'll be back here Monday, same time, same place. See you then.